Hey y'all, it's Paris and I'm back with another video. So today I want to talk to you guys about, are you willing to risk everything for Jesus? So I'm going to be coming from Mark chapter 10 verses 28 through 31, and it says, Peter tried another angle. We left everything and followed you. Jesus said, mark my words, no one who sacrifices house, brothers, sisters, mother, father, children, land, whatever, because of me and the message will lose out. They'll get it all back, but multiplied many times in homes, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, and land, but also in troubles. And then the bonus of eternal life. This is once again the great reversal. Many who are first will end up last, and the last first. I'm going to read it one more time. Peter tried another angle. We left everything and followed you. Jesus said, mark my words, no one who sacrifices house, brothers, sisters, mother, father, children, land, whatever, because of me and the message will lose out. They'll get it all back, but multiplied many times in homes, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, and land, but also in troubles. And then the bonus of eternal life. This is once again the great reversal. Many who are first will end up last, and the last first. So I wanted to read this to you guys because maybe you are just like Peter and you're saying, well, Jesus, I left everything and I followed you. And you're probably looking at your situation like, I did all this and I don't see nothing. I did all this sacrificing for Jesus and I don't see nothing. It doesn't look like God is anywhere. He's nowhere to be found. But what does Jesus say? Mark my words, no one who sacrifices house, brothers, sisters, mothers, father, children, land. It doesn't even say job, but we just gonna mention that. Jobs, marriages, whatever, school. If God has asked you to leave those things, God says, you'll get it all back, multiplied, okay? In another version, it says, you'll get it all back 100-fold. 100-fold. It doesn't matter if you don't see anything right now. God is letting you know that the end result, you're going to get it back. You're going to get it back, and it's going to be 100-fold. 100-fold. It's going to be better than what you left. So maybe God has called you to leave a job. The next job that you're going to get is going to be a promotion. It's going to be an upgrade. The next house that you're going to get is going to be an upgrade. Whatever God has told you to leave, you're headed towards an upgrade. Okay? It's going to be 100-fold multiplied. But then it also says, but multiplied many times in homes, brothers, sisters, mothers, children, and land, but also in troubles. So God is saying, even though I'm going to bless you double, I'm going to bless you 100 times fold, your troubles are going to be double as well. So you can't get the blessing without the trouble, because the trouble is going to come with it. So you're going to be blessed double, but then your troubles are going to be double as well. So the trouble that you seen last year is going to be double that. But God is going to give you double grace to get through it. Double grace to get you through it. So don't worry about the double trouble, because God is going to give you the grace to get you through it. Just know that God sees your sacrifice. He sees what you left for him. He sees what you did for him. He's going to give it back 100-fold. And then it says, this is once again the great reversal. Many who are first will end up last, and the last first. So the ones who you see, they already have those things that you're asking God for. They got that job before you. They got that house before you. They got into school before you. God is saying many who are first will end up last, but the last first. So even though you're last right now, you're going to be first. You're going to end up being first. You're going to end up being first. So that should be encouragement that yes, you may be last right now, but God is going to bring you into first place. And so I wanted to end this with a testimony, of course, because I always have stories. For the ones who watch my videos, for the ones who are subscribed to my channel, you know that I always share a testimony. So I was going to share this at a later date, you know, when God provided for me. But God was like, no, Paris, I'm doing a new thing in your life. I know that he was telling me, like, I know that you used to, you know, wait to share your testimony. Because I did. I used to wait until, you know, God provided for me. And then I would share the full testimony. But God was like, no, like, I need you to go ahead and share your testimony right now, even though it's not finished. Share it right now because it's going to bless somebody. And I was like, okay, God, okay. So anyways, speaking of this scripture, y'all, I should be the queen of leaving my job because God always calls me to leave my job. I don't know why, but he always calls me to leave my job. So I've mentioned this in my last, well, not my last video, but I mentioned this in one of my videos, and I shared about how God called me, you know, to leave my job. And I had only been there for a month. Like, God had just blessed me with that job, but he only allowed me to be there for a month. And so I was so confused. And I was like, God, you've never done this before. Like, you know, I've been at jobs and, you know, I've stayed there for about 3 months and God told me to leave. I've been at jobs to where, you know, I've stayed there for 9 months. And I think the longest that I've stayed at a job is a year. And I'm like, but 1 month, God? Like, you want me to leave after 1 month? And so I was confused. But I didn't know that God was doing a new thing. I did not know that God was doing a new thing. And so I was obedient. I did it. I risked everything. I did it. And so, y'all, fast forward. 2.5 months later, I still don't have a job. 2.5 months later, I still don't have a job. And I'm like, God, do you not see this house? Do you not know that I have a mortgage? Do you not know I have bills? And God, the only thing God has been saying to me is feed my sheep. The only thing God has been saying to me is feed my sheep. And, you know, he's also been telling me to rest in him and feed my sheep. And I'm like, God, what? And so it's actually coming up, you know, I think on November the 27th will be 3 months. That's why I said 2.5. But on November the 27th, it will be 3 months since I left my job. And so when I tell y'all, it has been the scariest thing. And, you know, for the first month and the second month, I wasn't scared because the last job that I had, God told me to quit. And within 2 months, after 2 months, God blessed me with another job. So, you know, for the first 2 months, I was straight. I was like, oh, I did this before. You know, God is going to, he's going to bless me with a job after these 2 months. But now it's 2.5 months and I'm like, God, what are you doing? And I'm like, God, you ain't never did this before. Last time you had me wait 2 months. And the time before that, you had me wait a month before I got another job. But this time, he doing something different, y'all. I don't know what God is doing. I don't know if God is going to give me a job in month 3, month 4. I don't know. But all I know is I just did what he told me to do. So when you see me do these videos consistently, it's because I'm being obedient. It's because God told me, feed my sheep. He wants me to keep encouraging you guys. When I tell y'all, that is the hardest thing, to encourage someone even when you're going through it. Y'all, I don't know how my bills are going to get paid. I really don't. I mean, the light's still on. The Wi-Fi's still on. You know, I can still make videos, but I don't know how things are going to get paid. I really don't. And to be honest, just 2 weeks ago, I was crying. I was crying, y'all, because I was like, God, you ain't never made me wait this long. Like I said, The last time I quit my job, God made me wait 2 months before I got a job. This time, I don't know how long, because it's coming up, it's going to be 3 months on the 27th and without a job. So I don't know what God is doing, but I hope that me sharing this to you guys, I hope that it's encouragement for you to know that even though I don't know what God is going to do, even though I don't know how my bills are going to get paid, even though I don't know whether I'm going to lose my house or not, I'm willing to risk it all for Jesus. I'm willing to risk it all for Jesus. And for the ones who are thinking logically, let me just correct you real quick. So for the ones who try to think naturally, and I'm not criticizing you, but I have to correct you. For the ones who are saying, just get a job, or just do DoorDash, or just do Instacart or whatever. God didn't tell me to move. God told me to be still. God told me to be still. And even if I wanted to do DoorDash, how am I going to drive my car? How? With what money? I've been without a job for 2 months, okay? All my funds are exhausted. I don't have any more. So even if I wanted to, I can't. I remember, just recently, I was talking to my dad, and so he already knows my situation. So he actually told me that he's in a similar situation, but on his side, he already knows that he has another job, set up for, sometime in December. So he's just worried about the in between. He's like, he doesn't know what he's going to do, before December. And so anyways, I told him my situation. And so out of nowhere, y'all, like, I'm keeping it strong. And I'm like, I'm trying not to show my weakness, but I'm keeping it strong. And then all of a sudden, my dad asked me, how I'm doing. And I was like, Dad, I'm fine. I'm fine. And he's looking at me like, Paris. And I'm like, Dad, I'm fine. And so then he asked me, well, how is school? And so I told him, I said, school is going okay. Because keep in mind, although I don't have a job, I'm still taking my online classes. Like, God hasn't stopped me from, my education. So I'm still taking my online classes. And so he asked me, how are my grades? And so I told him, I said, well, I still have a B and a C. I said, but this time I said, my B is a little bit lower. And so he started telling me, he was like, Paris, he said, defeat is all over you. He said, you have given up. And when he said that, y'all, I started to cry, like I just burst out in tears. And I was trying to, stay strong, but like the tears just wouldn't stop. My face is red. Like I was crying. And so then my dad started to speak encouragement in me, or to me. He started to speak encouragement over me. And so basically he was just saying, he was like, Paris, you're not a failure. He was like, you're not a failure. He said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And so then he told me, he was like, do you know where you could have been? Do you know where you could have been? Because he reminded me, when I was going through my court case, I was facing prison. And he was like, Paris, you could have been in prison right now. He said, but you're not. He said, you have your freedom. I'm trying not to cry right now. Like, Lord. Anyways, he was like, you have your freedom. You have your freedom. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying not to cry. But anyway, he said, you have your freedom. He was like, you're not a failure. You're not a failure. And so I want to encourage someone and let them know that you're not a failure. Just because you listen to God and you don't see anything happening, know that you're not a failure. You're not a failure. You may not see nothing right now, but you're not a failure. You are not defeated. You are not defeated. You are not defeated. What did God say in his word? He said, my word, he says, mark my words. No one who sacrifices house, brothers, sisters. I don't have to say everything, but it says you will get it all back, but multiplied. So you already know the ending. You already know that God is going to give it back to you. He's going to give it all back to you, but he's going to give it all back to you, but 100-fold. So you already know the ending. You may not see a thing, but you're not a failure. You're not a failure. And so my dad told me that. And when I tell you, it just lifted up my spirit. Like I needed to hear that. And so then my dad says, well, do you need some money? And I said, no, even though I do need some money, but I said no, because I trust that God is going to do it. And so, I knew that if God wanted to bless me through my dad is just going to do it. Like, just do it. If that's what you want to do, I'm not going to stop you. That's how God is going to provide. But if you have to ask me, I'm going to say no. So he asked me, do you need money? And I said, Daddy, I'm trusting God to bless me. I said, if you decide to bless me, I said, that's fine. I said, but if you don't, I said, I'm still trusting God. And so he told me, he was like, if I give you money, he said, you're going to have to get a job. That's where I have to disagree. I know what God told me. God told me to be still. Remember that, y'all. God told me to be still. So here, my dad is trying to be helpful. He's saying that out of concern. He's thinking logically. He's thinking naturally. So he's saying to me, Paris, even if you got to get a job that you're overqualified for, he's like, even if you got to work at McDonald's, he said, at least it's income. He was like, but if I give you this money, you're going to have to get a job. And I was like, I told him, I said, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. That's not what God told me. And so you have to be so set on what God told you. When people come in and they say, you should do this, you should do that, you have to remind them, or you have to remind yourself of what God told you, because there are going to be people in your ear trying to tell you what to do. And you have to remember what God told you in the first place. So it may not make sense to you. It may not make sense to my dad, to my mom, or whoever, but all I know is that I'm following what God told me. All I know is that I'm risking it all. I already know my ending. I already know that, when God does bless me with a job, it's going to be a whole promotion. It's going to be better than my last job. So I already know that. But what I don't know is what's going to happen, in the in-between. Am I going to lose my house? I don't know. Is my car going to get repossessed? I don't know. But guess what? I can rest. I can rest in God, because I know that God is going to work everything out, because I've risked everything for him. I risked my job for him. I did what he told me to do. The last thing God told me to do was to leave my job, and I did it. I don't see anything. I've applied to jobs. No one has called me. No one. That's how you know God is doing something. That's how you know God is that's how you know God is up to something, because when you have tried everything in your power and no one still calls you, oh yeah, God is up to something. And so God has shared with me, in the secret place for these 2.5 months where, I haven't had a job. God has been revealing to me, the things that are to come. He's been showing me what I'm about to do. He's been showing me, what's going to happen when I finally do get that job, when I finally do get that promotion. And I'm like, God, you're going to do all this? So I'm excited because of, what is to come. I know my situation looks like everything is going to go downhill, but God has already shown me the ending. So anyways, I just pray that I have encouraged you, because when I tell y'all, be thankful. Please be thankful that I'm making these videos, because I could be out here suffering, crying, and being selfish and saying to God and saying to myself, I'm not going to make no video. Not until you bless me, Jesus. I'm not going to encourage nobody else. Not until you bless me. That could have been me. But no, I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to feed God's sheep. I'm going to keep encouraging you guys, Because God already told me when he does bless me with this job that's coming, I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be super busy. And so I don't know if I'm going to be able to, do these videos consistently like I'm doing now. And so God is allowing me to get all these videos out, because when he does say, Paris, it's time to work. When he does say, Paris, your promotion is here, I'm going to have to stop everything. Well, not stop everything, but it just won't be as consistent as I am right now. So anyways, I know I've talked for a long time. I'm 20 minutes in, but I just hope that this has encouraged you guys. If I have encouraged you today, leave a comment. Let me know. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye, y'all.